Welcome to this podcast. We come to say to you, but anyway, I'm Colby.
And I'm drinking sparkling water, and you caught me at a bad time, but you can call me please.
Wait, I told you how we were starting. You're like,
you usually say you're like, all right, we're starting, and then like you give it a few seconds, and then I get to get a drink of my water, but like you're like, all right, starting. Fucking.
Here's the thing. I said we were starting, and then you were DanDaDaning all over the place, and that's where that time went.
I was DanDaDaning over to my water bottle. It was over there.
Man,
I was like DanDaDaDaN, fucking out, getting my water.
Okay, so
don't fuck with my process.
Past about a week and a half, my wife and I have been watching season 1 of Dexter, not Dexter's Laboratory, but like the killer one. Which has been great. Dexter season 1 is super good, and it's also like Dexter for 2008, I think, is whenever it started coming out. Pretty good representation of like an autistic dude, and everybody just being like a little weirded out by him, and he's like a little awkward. And yeah, it's like it really, really good as far as that goes.
Is he a surgeon?
No, he's a blood spatter analyst.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like I know who you're talking about because I have never seen Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan. Don't want to watch it. Don't give a shit. My sister's seen it. She likes it, I guess. Or maybe I'm confused. I am not a fan of it.
Oh man, it's good. It's one of those shows that like builds up tension over time, and it's really funny at parts, and it's really tense at times, but like it like has an underlying tension that sort of builds up until the end of the season. That's like what basically every season is, and it's really good up until season 5. Basically, season 5 starts at like a point where you're like, man, I don't know what they're going to do from here. And then they just fucking fumble it for 4 more seasons. So like, if you do watch it, watch till that point and then just be like, that's it. That's when Dexter stops.
That's when his lab gets exposed.
Well, I can't.
That's when Dee Dee's introduced.
Yeah, Dee Dee comes in. You're not wrong, actually.
Oh my god.
Without getting too much into spoilers, there is a character that's introduced as kind of like a sidekick type character to him in that season and it just did not work for me.
Unfortunate.
And yeah, so like the first, there's so much good stuff in the first season about like characterization of people, and I forgot actually how often they just talk in Spanish and they just don't put subtitles up for like what they're saying, which is like, as somebody that knows like, I don't know, 2% of Spanish, like I can catch most of what they're saying, or like derive it from what I know, but like, man, it's a good vibe to have just like a bunch of like Cubans just talking Spanish to each other, and you're like, I think I know what's happening there.
Just Cuban around.
Cuban around.
I always have to put subtitles. I don't like, if they speak really slow, I can get it, but Spanish people like to speak very fast. That's just language.
Yeah.
Or I guess that's the cadence that they decide to go with, the speed of sound.
Yeah.
And I can't catch it. I don't even know how people understand each other in Spanish. They talk so damn fast.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like we've been watching it. I put subtitles on just because like if I've just found out that it's easier for me to pay attention whenever I can rely on subtitles. To be like, oh, I didn't quite understand what he said there, or like he kind of mumbled a little bit. Like I found that like I can't actually hear all of the words that come in, so it's easier to like have subtitles on, and they will like straight up subtitle in Spanish, which is nice because I can like read and be like, oh, right, that word is like this other one, which is, you're probably talking about this person's aunt, or.
So if you put English subtitles, the subtitles will still show what they're saying, but in Cuban.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's fucked.
It's great. Yeah, but
do they speak Cuban or like Portuguese?
No, they speak Spanish. In Cuba, they speak Spanish.
Do they? Because I know like that's a big thing. Like anyone from any kind of like Spanish country, they speak like one of 10 languages.
Well, like so Brazil is very big on Portuguese. I think there's a couple of more countries in South America that are also Portuguese, but like like one of the interesting distinctions that a couple of people at my company like slipped up and made is with like a previous, like we had a coworker from Nicaragua and a bunch of coworkers from Brazil. And so they would mistakenly be like, "Oh, Dennis, here's some Portuguese." And Dennis is like, "I'm from Nicaragua, dude. I speak Spanish." And they're like, "Oh, right." Or the other way around, they'd be like, "Oh, you guys are from like South America, right? Here's a sentence in Spanish." And Dennis would be like, "Nice, good job. That's good Spanish you did." And the dudes from Brazil would be like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." They actually said that like that was a huge problem. Both of them had gone to Florida before to like go to Disney World, and they're like, the amount of fucking Cubans that see me and they're like, "Oh, here's a bunch of Spanish," and they have to be like, I don't really speak Spanish. I kind of know maybe some of the words you're saying, and then they start speaking in broken English. But because the person from Brazil is also like English is a second language, they're like, I don't fucking know what half this means either. Shit, I can't talk to anyone here. It sucks.
Yeah, that's how it is. If God, that's like me. If I'm with people that aren't Hispanic like I am, like you or anybody, and we happen to, well, you already know, but like, hey, cut that out.
Yeah, beans.
If we just happen to run into anyone that speaks Spanish, like everyone just looks at me, and I'm just like, fucking look at me.
Yeah, you're like, what, behind me or what?
Yeah, I'm like, so is there a translator?
There's someone back there.
And they're just like, "Oh, you're Hispanic. I don't know why they.
You speak Spanish?
You speak Spanish, huh?
Yeah.
You're fluent in taco. Yeah, I guess.
It's been like, it's really interesting to read some of the things in like specifically for Dexter, because they've got like the lieutenant is Cuban, and like one of the main detectives is Cuban, and at one point like there's two of them in a hospital room, and he's like, "Oh, you know, how long has my estranged wife been here?" And she's like, in Spanish, she's like, well, in English, she's like, "Yeah, she's been with you the whole time." And he's like, "Has she said anything?" And like in Spanish, she's like, "Well, you know, I don't know why she's been here the whole time, but who knows?" And I was like, I understood that. I got it. Which is like, ooh, I can do it a little bit. It's been fun.
Dexter's one of those shows that I always feel like I'd like if I watched it, but I just never did. It doesn't interest me that much, right? So,
I mean, you know, the concept is really is interesting, and I will say that like it's not one of those shows where it's like, yeah, you got to get through like season 1.5 and then it starts getting good. It's like, it's good starting episode 1, 2. Like the ending of episode 1 ends with like a cliffhanger for you to be like, "Oh, what the fuck is that about?" And it keeps you hooked the whole time. My wife actually like went on a trip somewhere last weekend and was actually sad that they had to miss Dexter for a few days. And I was like, yeah, that's how I know it's good.
Good for them that the shows are lucky for them that the show's already fully out, right?
Yes. Boy, the amount of times that I had to be like, can you imagine seeing the end of this episode and then not seeing the next episode for a fucking week? And they're like, no, God.
Okay, so like I was saying, Dexter's one of those shows that I always thought I'd liked, but I never watched it, and have no interest in watching it now. Same goes with Breaking Bad. Yeah,
I'm actually on the same page with Breaking Bad, but only because Breaking Bad is so long. Like, I know it would be super good. I know it's so like
long. It's like 3 seasons.
I thought it's like 7, right? Maybe it's not.
I thought it was like 3 or 4, but I could be wrong.
Season 5. It's 5 seasons.
Okay.
So split the difference.
But yeah, I like everyone's like, "Oh, it's like the best show ever," and they're making spinoffs, and I'm just like, I'm just not interested. When it was coming out, like streaming wasn't a thing, and I don't even remember what they showed it on AMC.
AMC, yeah.
And there was only one show I was watching on AMC, and that was like The Walking Dead, and like it just never really interested me the way it fucking was. Like I know it's a good show now, and like my tastes have matured. It's just, man, I knowing everything about it already, because like I basically know like everything about it through memes and like culture and shit. Why would I watch it?
Yeah. I'm there with you. Like there's a bunch of media that's like that for me, like movies that I'm like, oh yeah, this person says that like this thing is great, or like this show is really good, and I know that I would have liked it if I had played it at the time. Like Horizon Zero Dawn is a really good example. Like I would have been super into it at the time. Now I fucking why? There's so many other shows to watch. There's so much other stuff to do.
Speaking of games that I thought I would like but never played, that people like fucking hail as good games. I don't. It's there. I could play it anytime I want, and I don't think I'll ever will. Fuck, what's it called?
Super Mario Brothers. Yeah.
No, it was on PS2. The one where the guy fights the giant.
Shadow of the Colossus. Oh, that's a good one.
I don't think I'll ever play it. Not that I think it's a bad game. It's just I already know what the ending is.
Yeah.
I already know what the ending is. I know most of the Colossus. I've seen it be played a few times. Like,
yeah, you got it.
Why would
you don't need to play it?
Like, yeah. Why do I need to play it?
Yeah, part of the joy of it is like the discovery, and if there's no more discovery, then like why? You know?
Yeah. I get it. It could be a fun game. Maybe something I play on my own. Get down, Beans.
Yeah, Beans.
God, I held you for a little bit. Now you want to be a big baby about it. Sorry. But I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of media that's like that just looks good, and I know I want to like watch it or play it, but I just don't, for whatever reason. Maybe I will a couple of years like down the line. Just like right now, I'm playing through all the fucking Yakuzas. Like, I did it on a whim, and now I own every single game, and it's only been like what 4 months.
Yeah, it's a roll of the dice type thing. It happens for me too, like a few times a year, where it's like this is why we're like watching Dexter's, because I've seen Dexter before, but since Mia and I got together, which was 2012, 2011, something like that. Then like Dexter has been on, but like again, season 1 was like 2008, 2009, and then 2010, 11, 12. So like by the time we got together, it had like peaked at its like the best. And so, of course, I was like raving about how good it is. And Mia at the time was like, I can't really handle stressful shows. And like, I don't really like being like in suspense a lot. And I was like, well, that's all Dexter. Dexter's just suspense. And then like over time, Mia's just been like, yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in watching Dexter if like we ever want to watch it again. Then I think a couple weeks ago, we had finished watching Culinary Class War, which is like a Korean cooking show. Like the concept is super cool. It's like we have I think it's 20 chefs that are like world renowned or like super renowned in Korea, and then we have 80 chefs and we take away their name. They get a nickname for the whole show, and we put them against each other in like cooking competitions up until it's 1-on-1. And then if you're, they have like the white spoons, which are like the famous chefs, and then the black spoons that are like the unknown, this guy has a restaurant no one's ever heard of kind of guys. And then in the end, if you're a black spoon, you get your actual name like up there. And it's not like it's hard to find them. You could just be like, oh, who owns this restaurant? And fucking their name would come up. But like for the whole show, they're like, oh yeah, this guy's like, his name's Napoli Mafia, and fucking the comic book chef is coming in, and fucking Triple Star's the guy to watch. Like, but the other chefs just have names. So you're like, well, all right. Edward Lee, love that guy. Great show, it's a fun concept. And then we finished and we were like, well, I don't know what we should watch. And so I was like, I'll give you some options. I would be down to watch DanDaDan. I would be down to watch
Ranma.
This other thing, not Ranma.
Should have watched Ranma.
I don't give a fuck about Ranma.
Oh, it's a good show.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's one of those that I'm like, I don't care. And Dexter, I was like, and also Dexter, and then wife was like, I don't know, let's give Dexter a go. One episode, and they were like, all right, can we watch another one? I'm like, fuck yes, it worked. And then yeah, that's what we were doing every night, was watching 2 episodes of Dexter or so, and it was great. Had a great time.
Yeah. For live action shows, it's not hit or miss. It's I have to be very interested to watch it. Like,
yeah,
I was that way when I saw Resident Alien.
Oh yeah,
that show's really good. I was like way into it, and then I got to season 3, and then I just stopped for whatever reason. Not that because it's a bad show. It's just I was like, I'm done with the show.
Yeah. I'm kind of over it. Yeah, like I said, just like there's like 5, maybe 3 or 4 nights. 5 is too much. Maybe 3 or 4 nights a year where I'm like, what am I gonna watch today, or what am I gonna watch tonight? And then just randomly, you're like, oh, that's right, I actually want to start watching this show. And then you're like, I wouldn't normally watch this, but I just kind of had a feeling, and now I'm in. And it's the same thing with video games, where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do, and then I look and I'm like, I kind of want to play Ghost of Tsushima, and then now maybe I'll go play Ghost of Tsushima, right? So It's like it's always a hit or miss thing, but like whenever you have a thing where you're like, I know it's going to be good, I know I'd like it, I'll watch it whenever I have time, you're basically rolling like a 5,000 sided die 5 times a year to like, what in my backlog do I want to get through? This one seems cool right now.
It's always something that's not in my backlog that I end up with.
Oh yeah.
That's how it was with Resident Alien. Just popped, the first 2 seasons popped up, or the 2 most current seasons popped up on Netflix, and I was like, okay, I saw when they were advertising it, I want to watch it, and I did. So I was with Yakuza. I didn't even get into Yakuza from like any of the Yakuza games. I started with the side game Judgment.
Yeah.
And I played the fuck out of it. I was like, this what these games? I was like, fuck.
Why did nobody tell me?
I always knew it looked good because I kept seeing like fucking people play it, and like I didn't know any of the story, but I kept seeing like Donkey playing fucking like showing all the goofy aspects of it, and I'm like, oh, it's not just that. Like the combat's actually good.
Yeah.
And there's goofy shit. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
So I played Judgment. It was like 80 hours or something, because it's one of the newer games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, kind of want more. Like I was like, well, I'll start back from the first Yakuza 0, and I looked at my PlayStation library, and I guess I bought Yakuza 0 back when I had the PS4, but never played it.
Oh, wow.
And because like Yakuza is always on sale for like $5.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, well, I'll play this. And then after that, I've just been playing them one after the other. Like I played 0, beat it. It's the lowest one because it's like 20 or like 40, 30 hours. So it's not that time consuming. And when I went back to that, I was like, oh, wow, this battle system's archaic compared to like the newer ones. And Zero's kind of using some of the updated battle. And then I played Kiwami, which they remade using the updated fighting style.
Yeah.
Played 2 or Kiwami 2, same thing. And then those are the remaster or remakes, right? Because those games came out on the PS2. And Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all like 3. They remastered it, not remade it, remastered like HD remaster.
Yeah,
and they put it on the PS4 and PS5, but they didn't change it to update the style to. They didn't update the style to the newer game, so when I played 3, it went back, and I was playing like the older style of the game, and I was like, "Oh, this is really weird." But I still liked the game, and I beat it. And I was gonna play 4, but I happened to get Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I think it was on sale, and I bought it for like $10. And I was like, I'm gonna play this game, right? And now that's all I do every day. Anytime I have off, right before we started the podcast, I was playing it, and it's because it's an RPG,
Yeah.
turn-based, and it's basically Dragon Quest with a Yakuza skin.
Yeah, yeah.
And that game is fucking stoked. And then yesterday, the sale ended for the Yakuza series. Sega was having a sale, and I bought Infinite Wealth for $30 because that game's still $60. It just came out this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, $30? That's a fucking steal. And I bought Yakuza Ishin, which I'm very stoked to play, which is the, I guess it's like a side game, like an offshoot of What If. All the characters from Yakuza, but they're in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
And that game looks fucking wild, and I'm very excited.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know if this is like a failure with me or a failure with Yakuza, but like, I watched Moon play Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I was like, this actually looks really fun and like really funny. Why didn't I know that this game was like a funny kind of thing? Or like, I had no idea what the combat was. And then like somebody in chat was like, oh yeah, none of the other Yakuza games are like this. And I was like, well, what are the other Yakuza? And I saw somebody playing it. And I was like, wait, it's like a beat 'em up type thing?
Yeah.
Why the fuck didn't I know that? Like, I would have loved this game when it came out. Stupid.
Yeah, dude. Like, man, and this sucks too, because when I was younger, I would always see the Yakuza game at the GameStop. This is back when it was cheap. Now it's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
But I would always see it, and it was like it would always just be the back of what's his name with the dragon on his back. That was the cover, and I was like, dude, that looks cool. But like, I was very shy about picking up games that I didn't know. Like, like that was very Japanese, because like I think one time I had rented Kessen.
Oh yeah.
I did not like that game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And I don't know. I bet if I would have played it back then, I probably might have liked it, but might have not. Because I went back to look at gameplay of the old game. I might have liked it because Mark Hamill voiced fucking what's his name?
Kessen.
No. Mark Hamill voiced the eye patch guy. I forget everybody's name.
Majima?
Right now. Majima. And I might have liked it. It was like really silly, but I watched some of the gameplay, and the camera angles are fixed, and the combat's a little slower, and I'm like, I don't. I think if I played this when I was younger, I might have not wanted to play it at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't know what it is about Yakuza like being really big right now, because like the new game's coming out next February, and the show just came out on Amazon, and that show fucking sucks ass. Everyone in the Yakuza community, especially in the Yakuza subreddit, is like, yeah, we kind of had a feeling the show would be fucking ass. And it turns out it did, because everything Amazon does sucks.
Damn.
It like, oh my god, fucking it sucks, because I saw the first 3 episodes. It's a 6-episode series, and they released it in parts. And what's it called? The first 3 episodes, like, I toned out hard because they changed all the story. They changed how fucking what's his name, John Yakuza,
that's his name.
They changed how his character is. They changed his backstory. They changed everything, and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? Why am I even watching it then? I'm like, everything's different, and I hate this.
I'm looking. They do have like, they did Invincible. They do The Boys. They've had like some pretty good shows. But man,
I'm gonna say like something not controversial.
They did Fallout.
Yeah, okay. Fallout was great.
Fallout kicks ass.
Fallout Season 2 is looking like it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
The Boys, I got bored of it after Season 2. Invincible, I haven't seen past Season 1.
I haven't either, because I don't care.
I don't care either, but I don't think... how are they gonna follow up like Invincible season 1 being as good as it was? Like,
Yeah.
I have high hopes, and I know they're not gonna be met.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's one of those shows that I would argue you could probably get the gist of just through clips, and it wouldn't
Basically.
be that much different. So that's what I do.
I'd rather read the comic. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
man, I can't. I want to read more comics. I just can't. I don't know. Something in me is like, when I got laid off, like my whole day was structured around doing, oh, look at that. Oh, that's going to be a good transition. If you're not if you're not watching this live, Fia is currently holding up DanDaDan, volume 2.
I'm reading the manga.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's like whenever my whole life was centered around like, okay, I drop my kid off at daycare. I come home, I make coffee, I go upstairs, I sit down at my desk, and then I work until 1 to 2, go downstairs, eat lunch briefly, come back upstairs, work until 5, and then go pick up my kid. And like, for whatever reason, I'm having such a hard time not doing that. Like, I drop my kid off, I come back home, I make coffee, I come upstairs, I apply for jobs, and then I take a nap after I eat. Sometimes I don't even eat. I just take a nap, and then it's time to pick up my kid, and I'm like, God, I could have done something, but I don't know. I'm not.
Go drop off your kid and just sit down like
yeah, for 8 hours.
For like 2 hours. Yeah, for like 2 hours.
God.
Like, now what?
The
What's my life.
Like, so now, because I want to watch Penguin as well, but my wife is not interested in Penguin, so I'm like, okay, I've got to watch it by myself, which is fine, but I just have to force myself to do it.
I'm not gonna give any spoilers of context, but in the Penguin show, fucking Penguin says, "I got you." He said the line.
Good.
Man, the Penguin is so good. I can't wait for the next episode on Sunday.
Hell yeah.
I love that show so much, even though I hate. Okay, so like, there's a character who changed her name to fucking. I never mind. I don't know what her fucking. Oh, okay, yeah. So she changed her name. She was like, my mother's name was Gigante, and that's who I am. I'm Gigante. I'm like, don't fucking say it like that. I'm like, don't. God, that's so stupid. Because like, when I think of the word Gigante, it's like the Spanish word for like big, but or for like real big, and it's called Gigante.
Gigante, yeah.
Gigante. And she's like, my name is Gigante. I'm like, ugh, don't say it. Don't talk. I'm like, don't say your name.
Yeah, I do wonder if that's like a not like a second generation or like third generation kind of thing, because like
they're like Italian American.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's like, if that's just like a common thing to do, where you're like, I'm over here now, so I pronounce it Gigante.
Yeah. Well, if she said it like that and didn't pronounce all the fucking consonants, I'm Gigante. She's like, yeah, I'm a Gigante now. Like,
no, please. Yeah, like in Austin, you get like, people will shorten down like Guadalupe to like Guad or Guadalupe. And you're like, oh,
I've heard Guadalupe.
Guad's fun.
Guad is awful. Fucking
yeah. There's also there's this road there, spelled Manchaca, which should be pronounced Manchaca or Manchaca.
Oh, yeah, Manchaca. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pronounced Manchac.
What?
Yeah, everybody in Austin pronounces it Manchac, and it sucks.
Manchac?
Yeah.
That's super
like a shack for a man. A man shack.
For men. A man shack. Why not just Manchaca? That's the easiest thing to pronounce. You don't even have to use an accent on it.
I don't know, man. It's bad.
Man shack. Ugh. I hate everybody in Austin.
Yeah, with good reason. We're talking about like starting up shows, and like I was surprised that my wife wanted to start DanDaDan. Because my wife was like, "Oh yeah, I heard that was like one of the best shows of the season. Like, I'm interested in starting it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So after we finished,
I've been talking all about it in Discord.
After we finished, doing the. Oh, interesting. Sorry, what? I'm gonna have to. I before we talk about DanDaDan,
he's gonna put a pin in it.
I have to. So, I have. I've been eating
candy
Hokkaido milk bread for breakfast.
Oh, milk bread.
And
oh yeah.
I happened to look over because the wrapper was on my desk, and I looked at the back of it. The one thing that's bad about these is like whenever you open it, what I have to do is I will break the bread in half and then put it down and leave it there for 5 minutes because it smells weird. It just smells like medicine or something for about 5 minutes, and then it's fine. Then it tastes great. And I just read on the back, to maintain quality, this product contains an alcohol formulation packet. You may experience alcohol scent or slight bitterness in taste. To soften the experience, please consume the product several minutes after opening. I never read that before. I just started doing that. Fuck. So mad. I'm just so ADHD. I find like I look at the back. I'm like, I don't need. I didn't need any of that. Fuck that.
Oh, you usually don't need instructions for bread.
I guess that's true, but like the amount of jobs that I've applied to in the past like 2 weeks, where I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to apply. There's 4 paragraphs of description, and I'm like, skip all that, get down to the bullet points. Like, this is what you're doing. Develop a team. Go to like do this project. Talk to these people. I'm like, great, yeah, I could totally do that. Sorry, what programming language am I using? And then like I go up to like a paragraph and it's like, you'll be using these technologies. I'm like, I just fucking skip past all of that and I can't do any of these things. So what a waste of time just because I can't focus long enough to be like, let me just skim through this paragraph. I'm like, fuck this paragraph. I'm going down to the bullet points.
Fuck all this. Just tell me what you want.
All right, so
I know how to use C++.
I could do it. Yeah, I'm down at I'm down
to clown.
I'm down on DanDaDan. My wife is like, yeah, I'm down to watch this. And we get about 20 minutes into this I'm going to say actually 15 minutes into this episode, and the female lead is in a bra and panties about to be molested by a bunch of aliens, and there's an old ghost that wants to steal a man's dick. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm having a really good time so far, but like, God, please stick the fucking landing show.
No.
We watched 2 episodes and it fucking super does.
It does. Like, so like the her being in her underwear doesn't seem. I know it's a sexual situation, but I don't see it as sexual. If that makes sense. Maybe because like I'm anime brained, but like I don't see like. There's some people like, oh, you fucking like this show because the fucking characters like always in their underwear or whatever. I'm like, I don't see it like that. I was too fucking focused on the animation.
Yeah.
Like the animation, the fucking all the goofy shit they're saying, like everything. Because at that point that you're talking, there's like 5 things going on simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I'm like having a good time. I'm laughing. I'm not just like pausing it and going frame by frame like,
oh, the fuck is this?
I'm like actively watching the show because of how good it is. Like the aliens especially.
God.
Like with they're like leaning back with their big robot wieners. And dude, fucking Turbo Granny has such a good design.
Yeah.
Turbo Granny's like the coolest fucking looking character. And then Ken, what's his name? He's really funny, but she calls him, what does she call him? Okakun?
Yeah.
Him and then her, like they are like bouncing off each other and like talking.
Okarun,
like, yeah, Okarun. And her, like they're like going back and forth, like talking, and they're like real funny.
Yeah. Like, okay. I'm the first thing that I want to say about this show, which plays into that. This is the first time that I've seen a thing where I was like, oh, this is giving me an identical feeling to the first time I watched Fooly Cooly, where I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. So much shit is just happening, and like the dialogue is really funny, and like it hasn't solidified me. Like, I don't know the rules of this world, and like the camera styling is like really interesting. The animation is insane. Like, I'm still reeling from this show. Like, every time I watch it, I'm still like, I don't know what the show's gonna fucking do next. It's unpredictable. It's super fast paced. And it's great. Like, it gives me that same feeling where I'm like, I can't tell you what's gonna happen in the next episode. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. It escalates quick, and the premise of the show is so stupid. It works.
Yeah.
Like the premise that this nerd who's all about aliens somehow befriends this Gauro, who just broke up with her shit ass boyfriend, who believes in ghosts and happens to have a fucking grandma that's an exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Just become friends like randomly.
Yeah.
And then they start talking, and then he's like, "Oh, you believe in ghosts but not aliens? How about you go to this alien sighting spot?" And she's like, "Fine, I'll go, but you got to go to the ghost tunnel." And they're like, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong." And then they both end up being wrong.
Yeah,
aliens and ghosts both exist. I'm like, what the hell is this show? Like,
yeah.
What were you thinking when you created it?
We were like halfway through the sequence where like he's going down the tunnel and she's in the hospital. I turned to my wife and was like, this is so fucking random, because that like it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, to be like, well, why don't you go over here? Well, fine, why don't you go over here, and not go together? They're just like, we're both gonna be separate but on the phone at the same time, shit talking each other. And I'm like, why? You could just both go. But it's like,
no.
It's just funnier that way. It's great.
It's so much funnier that way, and it's so funny. Like, when he sees the ghost, he's just like, "Oh fuck, I see it." And she's like, "Don't run! Whatever you do,
do not run!"
Fuck. This is like, okay, so this is like one of the not only shows, but like one of the few shows that I like both the OP and the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I won't skip. I always watch the fucking DanDaDan song,
mm-hmm.
and I always watch the ending because the animation's good with the cat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know about the cat yet. Cat just got introduced.
Yeah,
the most recent episode.
So far, we're just done with 2 episodes, but like I gotta fucking give it to Creepy Nuts. It's dude, like they did the intro to Mashal,
and Mashal season 2.
They were like, yeah, there you go. There's this fucking bop. And this show, I mean, it's not the best show, but like maybe it'll win best intro. And then I wonder if they were like, holy shit, Fee.
Sorry, I slipped.
Your whole camera is down now.
Oh. A camera.
So like, yeah, it's like they were like, yeah, I don't know, we may win an award. And then they were like, what if we like took the beat of that song and made a different song? Like, what if we just made sure we're gonna win anime intro of the year? Let's just fucking kill it out here, okay? And so you fucking get the intro that's just like, you can't get it out of your head. Like, the intro to Mashal, Bling Bang Bang Born, that's like, that was in my head for weeks. The song, I think it's called Otoke from Creepy Nuts.
Yeah, it's Otoke.
It's gonna be in my head for fucking weeks too. These sons of bitches.
It's been in my head all this week and last week, and I keep seeing people do like videos of it. Like, yeah, there's the one that Jeremy shared with the live action,
mm-hmm.
the Pikmin version, because it sounds like Pikmin singing.
Yeah.
For the chorus, like,
yeah.
It's been in my head, and it's on Spotify, so of course I put it on my playlist.
Yeah.
Like, and it's been on repeat. Like. DanDaDan is such, it's so like, it's such a weird, what's it called? Premise for a show.
Yeah.
And the artist is really good.
Yeah.
For the manga and for the art direction for the show. And they just went fucking ham on the animation.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got a couple of behind the scenes, or I guess like behind DanDaDan's like trivia. So the author, like the mangaka, was an assistant like artist on Fire Punch, and I think one other like Heaven's Gate something. And so like Shueisha, the people who like do Shonen Jump, he had pitched 3 different manga to them, and every time they didn't pick it up. And so at that point he was like, he had artist block. He's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Like, I keep trying to give these people something good. I draw something good. This is a story I'm interested in. I don't know what the fuck you want. And so he goes to the end of year Shueisha party and starts talking with one of the editors. And one of the editors is like, dude, just like, stop worrying about story. Just fucking draw. Like, if you're having some artist block, just draw some shit. Just draw some shit that like you want to draw. And so he was like, the pressure of like making a manga was removed, and then he just started drawing shit, and he came up with like the concept of Turbo Granny. Like Turbo Granny is like a thing that actually is in Japanese folklore. I found out. I had no idea.
It is.
But like he did the design for Turbo Granny, and he like shared it, and they were like, "Oh, that's fucking sick, dude." And so he's just drawing. He's drawing like random shit, and then they're like talking back and forth, and one of them is like, "Dude, what would a show look like if you got your wiener stolen?" And and they showed up to pitch. They were like, here's this design. Here's some stuff. What if your wiener got stolen? And fucking Shueisha was like, yeah, okay. And they're like, sorry, fucking what? What do you mean, okay? I come in with like fully fledged manga, like character designs and backstory, and you're like, nah, I don't know about that. And I come in with this, and you're like, yeah, what if your wiener did get stolen?
What the hell? What if your wiener did? Look, that's $1 million idea.
I'll fucking print it right now.
And the fucking manga with this pen, he's just like, fuck it.
Fuck it, dude. All right. And that's what it feels like. It feels like every page he's writing and drawing as fast as possible, and he doesn't think about what's coming next. He's like, I don't know. This is what happens on this page. What happens on this page? Let's fucking see.
Dude, it's so funny. Like that fucking Okaron's wiener being stolen, such a big plot point.
Yeah.
And, like, that's okay. I don't know if I don't want to spoil it. I can't. I'd say, God, I can't spoil it. Okay.
So I like
I forget what episode 2 ends with.
2 ends with
they're at the shrine.
Yeah, right? They're at the shrine. It ends with her passing out and him turning back into Turbo Granny on top of her. As it's exactly where it ends. Which like you're about to see some good shit. I'm very pumped because like there's so much good random shit that's just happening right now. And so I didn't know she has a crush on a Japanese film star. Yeah, I had no idea. Like I had no idea he was a dude that like starred in movies. So like whenever Okarun comes like is like, oh yeah, this is my name, and it's the same name as like the guy from the movies, she's like, that's not your fucking name. Never say that name ever again to me. Because she has a crush on this dude, and I was like, is this like the name of like, I don't know, maybe because I'm thinking like typical like anime trope would be she's like, oh, I really like this like fanfic author who's like this guy, and he goes by his real name, he's sick, nobody knows about him, and then she's like, no fucking way, you're the same guy, I can't believe I want to fuck this dude. Nah, just like shares the same name as a movie star, and she's like, don't you fucking ever say that name again, you little shit.
Dude, it's so funny, like people will probably be mad at it, but like they have like such a good brother-sister dynamic, and they're so like funny together. They're gonna end up together. I already know it, but like I'm happy for that. Like he deserves it. But
well, and like I like both of them. It like
I do.
It takes. How do I explain this? Like,
just spit it out.
It does a really good job of like making her feel like a character, and not a character that I've seen before, not a character where like I know what you're fucking doing, or like she feels like a protagonist it feels like a dual protagonist show, and she doesn't feel like a side character. Like,
yeah, she doesn't feel tacked on.
yeah, she doesn't feel tacked on. She, like, the fact that she's like a girl, like, matters, but not in the way where it's like very like fucking Avengers Endgame assemble all the women style. Like,
oh my god,
it's great. Yeah. Like, she's a super good character. I when she's talking about like her grandma, and she's like, I realized that I was like actually pissed off that like my childhood crush like made fun of my grandma. I fucking love my grandma. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking sick. I like that. I know this about you, and you get those like flashes into like who they are as a person, and like you're like digging deeper on both. If anything, Okarun is the one where you're like, I don't know, he likes UFOs. That's what I know. He likes UFOs, and he doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, he likes UFOs. He's a nerd. He gets picked on, and that's all we know about him. Don't even know about his family or anything. It's more about I don't even remember her name.
Miss Isa.
Yeah, Isa. And it's mostly about her because she like gets into her own because of the ghost backstory about her. I don't know if you know or if that's showed yet, but I don't want to spoil it.
Well,
again,
the thing that they've talked about is that like her grandma's like, you're protected as long as you let your chi flow out of your head and you tense your lower ab muscles. And she's like doing this to like help her remember that it like goes out of your head. Yeah. And then she walks to school like this, and everybody makes fun of her. And it's like, I don't think your grandma ever told you to do this, but okay, sure.
Yeah, no, her grandma told her to do it. She's like, yeah, you gotta make sure that you do this because this helps your chi flow. And everyone made fun of her, so she's like, you know what, I hate my grandma now.
Yeah.
But like, she secretly didn't.
Yeah.
And like, it's so great. She's such a great character with how goofy, like she's not really like sexual or any way, but like she really wants a boyfriend, but like her exes really suck. And what's cool though, like I think this has been like making a comeback, but Garros have been in a lot of shows lately. I've been seeing a lot of Garros.
Yeah, and she's like not on the extreme end either. Like the show starts off with her boyfriend being like, yeah, I don't know, like, you need to like pay to take me out on a date.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Yeah, maybe if you put out or whatever, then you won't have to. But like, you got to pay for the love hotel if that's the case. Yeah. You're like, this dude fucking sucks. And she's like, not even super taken aback by it. Like, she's like, all right, I'm fucking over it. I'm gonna kick you. And then he like kicks the shit out of her. Like, it's an intro that like puts you on your, like, it puts you off balance because you're like, I don't know that I've seen like a dude kick a woman in the stomach and it not be like a big deal, and like a dude comes in to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah, it just happens.
It just happens, and then they move on, and you're like, what is the show?
Yeah, they move on, and her friends are like, yo, what happened? She's just like all fucking beat up and shit.
She's just like, I'm sad. I broke up with my boyfriend. You didn't mention that, like, yeah, he beat the shit out of me in front of the school or whatever. Like, fuck it, who cares?
And then, like, I like her walk cycle when she's like walking in the hallway and she's like,
she's fucking doing the Doflamingo walk.
Yeah,
from One Piece. She's doing the Doflamingo walk. It's terrible.
and then, like, she just happens upon fucking Okaran, and she like what's it called? Inserts herself in just to help him, and then he's like, oh fuck. I like that he doesn't first see her as a love interest. He's like, a friend. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. He's like, he's so fucking pumped about having a friend. He's well, like, whenever he confronts her, he's like, okay, the only reason you would have done that is because you're in love with me, and I don't know why, but like, cool. And she's like, I'm definitely not, dude. He's like, okay, so here's all this stuff about UFOs. Like, okay, like, you must like UFOs. You got to get into like this occult shit. And then she's like, you have got to fucking calm down. You're like, you're being a super fucking incel right now. Chill, dude.
Yeah, he has that UFO autism.
Yeah. He's like, have you ever heard of Langley? And she's like, fucking stop.
Dude, yeah, I like that she's like really annoyed, but like she knows he means well, so she doesn't want to like make him feel bad.
Yeah.
And then like slowly as the show's going on, she starts to like not like get feelings for him like romantically. She's like, this guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, this guy's all right.
So.
Like, I don't know. I kind of like, and while they're talking on the phone to each other is like where you get the sense that like, oh, okay, like, you know, she actually is like trying to form a relationship with this dude and like is like interested enough to like reveal personal details about herself and is like, she seems to be having an okay time. And you're like, all right, so like, this isn't all about spite.
Yeah. I think what she really needed, look at me getting all philosophical. What she needed was change because she's been like dating these fucking real shitheads.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, maybe I don't need a relationship. Maybe just a friend, right?
Yeah, just this like small little squirrel friend that just hangs out.
And then shit happens. You would think we're talking about a slice of life, but then fucking ghosts and aliens show up.
Dude, like Turbo Granny shows up and fucking steals this man's wiener, and then it switches over to the hospital where she's like walking around and the lights turn off and the camera flips and the 3 aliens in like human disguises are behind her. And my wife goes, "Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all." I was like, yeah, their design is fucking terrible. Like, yeah, it's awful to look at.
The designs are like kind of like creepy looking for such like an action comedy anime.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then they're like, yeah, we kidnapped you because we want to reproduce. We can't do it. So we're going to just have sex with you and you're going to take it.
Yeah. They're like, we're going to steal your uterus and your banana. And you're like, sorry, what? You're gonna what? And they're like, here's some stuff to like make you super turned on. And she's like, and they're like, no, how is she fighting it? I don't fucking get this.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, she's fighting it. Well, this is going to be uncomfortable.
Well, and so like that's happening. You're like, God, this is horrific. I hate this. I hate the fact that they're like very upfront about like, look at my mechanical penis I'm going to put inside of you. You're like, I don't like this. Something has got to happen here. But like the only other protagonist has been captured by a ghost. Like, what the fuck is going to happen here? And then a phone call happens and you're like, what is this going to be? And fucking our main character comes out of the phone. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Half possessed comes through the phone with his face half possessed by Turbo Granny, and he's like, fuck! She's like, shit's happening to me, and she's like strapped to a board, and she's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
look
no shit.
And he's like, I don't fucking care, look at me. Like,
they're like, it's one of those fully cooly moments where you're like, what's gonna happen? And then fucking the main character gets hit in the head. Something comes out of his fucking head. You're like, why is that happening? It's like, who gives a shit? Don't worry about it. We're fighting aliens now.
Dude, this is like, it's a very random show, but I think it's like something that like has been like needed for a while, because like a lot of anime has just been very structured and by the books, and it's great to have something that's so out there, right?
I think like this is probably the like it's the same genre, but it's like the antithesis to Jujutsu Kaisen, where they're like, okay, like 2 to 3 minutes of every episode is explaining like, okay, so this is what a reverse curse technique is. You see, actually, when you do a simple domain inside of somebody else's domain, the two domains actually cancel each other. Like, it's so encyclopedic about setting up, like, this is the power structure. And it's so concerned with, like, what power scalers are going to say and explaining things and making sure that, like, well, I didn't close a plot. Like, I didn't open a plot hole by saying this. Like, and the more that it explains, the more that it has to explain, because it's like, oh, here's this new idea. How does this interact with, like, a curse technique? Oh, but then there's the reverse curse technique. And, like, it's fucking stop.
Yeah, but the thing about this show, like, when they explain stuff, it's not like it's not just people standing there looking at each other explaining.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, actually, like, doing it dynamically where they're talking, but, like, the characters are doing something, or they're showing, like, something else in the background. Mm-hmm. They never really like stand on the explaining stuff that much.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen had to do so much explaining that I think it's a plot point that the more that you explain your technique, the stronger it is. I think that's a plot point there.
That's someone's domain.
Yeah.
Fucking explain domain. Fucking here's my domain. PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, okay. Here it is. Yeah. Somebody is asking, how does explaining techniques increase their power? I took a break from JJK for a while and only recently caught up, and I'm a little confused. As a matter of fact, if someone could give a comprehensive rundown of the whole power system, that would be awesome. That's the state of Jujutsu Kaisen. If somebody's like, hey, I took a break for a little bit and I came back and like, what the fuck is this?
Dude, that thing, I got done with season 1, and I'm like very not looking forward to like watching it again, because like, no offense, I'd probably watch season 1 all over again, because I know I don't remember maybe stuff that happened, and I'm not excited about it. Maybe I'll never watch it, but who knows? I'll wait until the show's over, then I'll watch it. But that's kind of just like, I think we talked about it before about Demon Slayer, how I kind of just stopped watching at the Mugen arc, and I was like, I'm not interested in going back. But then like last month, for whatever reason, I was like, I didn't have anything to watch. I was just there, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch Demon Slayer. And then I caught up in like a week. I finished the fucking other 3 arcs, and now I gotta wait for like the finale, like which we might get next year, which is the last arc. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I just got into it again. What the hell? Yeah,
like the thing is, there's Demon Slayer had a problem where like they did the movie, and the movie was really fucking good. They did, and then like the Entertainment District arc, the arc that comes right after that, is insane. It's probably the best arc. And then it's like, well, how do you follow that up? And what they did for the Sword Village, it was just
Sword Village arc. I liked it.
It's good, but it's like, it's not as good as the Entertainment District arc. It like wasn't as like over the top, and like fucking, it didn't build up to like the catastrophic heights that it needed to. It was like a bunch of smaller battles coming together.
Well, that's because the Swordsman Village arc kind of happened like 3 episodes in, instead of like waiting and stuff. Like, Tanjiro gets to the Swordsman Village, and they're just like, all right, we're gonna rebuild your sword. This is what everything is, and you know, go take a break and whatever. And then fucking demons attack. Like, a big demon plot happens, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm down with this.
Demons.
They didn't waste any time getting into it.
And then they got like, then you do the Hashira training arc, which is, I get why you have to do it.
Yeah. It's
but
not
damn,
that I didn't like the Hashira training arc. It's just, I was like, okay, this is like filler, but it's needed filler.
Yeah, and like the way that it ends, they set you up for like, this last arc is going to be fucking insane, and you're like, cool, nice, like that's great. But it suffers from the same thing that like Attack on Titan did, where season 1, season 2 is like, oh god, everybody is in danger all the time, like, oh shit's happening, and then they get to the part where it's like, okay, Attack on Explainer arc, where it's like, oh well, the royal family is like down inside of this cave, actually injecting the thing into the, and like all of that had to happen in order for the final seasons to be as buck wild as they were. But damn, it's hard to get through.
So like, I love Attack on Titan, but that fucking explainer arc of like, these are what Titans are, and this is what happened, and this is the reason. I'm just like, oh my god, let me be anywhere but here.
Yeah.
And then Titans start happening again. Like, I don't give a shit about like the main character, like the main character, and like who he is and why he is and shit. Like, just show me, like, fuck,
man,
y'all took too much time.
I think like actually the opposite is true for me, because like the beginning of like the next to last season, where they're like, oh look, fucking here's what Eren Yeager's been doing, and it's like, here he went over to this place and he did this thing, and like showing a bunch of flashbacks. Like, I like all that shit. The part that I really didn't like, I enjoyed the action of it, but whenever they're like, it's the military police versus like Levi's stepdad, I was like, man, like,
why did we have to know that fucking Captain Levi is like an underground fucking city dweller that's like tough and shit?
Yeah, why is the underground city even a thing? Who gives a shit? Like, and then they're like, oh well, then the Beast Titan does this thing. You're like, okay, that's cool, that's interesting. That whole season has like, a third of the season is really interesting and cool, and the rest of it is like, Yes, the Reese family is the true king, and it turns
my
out that the
God.
king actually put a spell on all of the citizens. You're like, ugh,
I like Attack on Titan. Just watch the first season and then the last 3 movies.
damn.
That's
You'll
it.
get it. You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. So DanDaDan does pulls a demon slayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a cool way. So Demon Slayer's like, oh, in the show when they're doing their breathing techniques,
Mm-hmm.
no, like normal people, like no one sees it. It's just for your entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
DanDaDan does the same thing, but they say it in the show.
Oh, okay.
They're like, yeah, Okarun and what's her name? They see the ghosts and the aliens and shit because they're in tune with the what's it called, the
The occult.
supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the occult. But like you'll see it in like a later episode. I'm not like gonna spoil it, but like they're like fighting this big ghost and they're like running away from it. And they're like, oh, well, let's go in here to like get rid of it. And like there's a bunch of people in the building and it barrels through the water. Everyone's like, was that an explosion? While you see the ghost like fucking barreling through. So like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not like it's explaining like what they're seeing and other people just don't know what's going on around it.
Yeah, it's like a fucking stand battle in JoJo.
Yeah, basically. And that's like another cool thing just about DanDaDan. Like we're seeing what they're seeing, but like other people in the universe can't see it, and it's a good explanation. I just think it's cool, like especially like if you like you don't know what's gonna happen to Okarun, but man, it looks cool and it's funny too.
Yeah, I'm glad because like we watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, okay, actually I want to watch this every night until we're all caught up, and then I want to keep watching it live.
You have I think 3 more episodes. I don't know if 6 episodes are out right now. The newest one came out yesterday.
Nice.
DanDaDan Thursday is what I call it.
Oh, okay. All right. DanDaDan Thursday. That's good because we got Taskmaster on Fridays. So, like, we got something to watch every day. That's good. It's good.
I was gonna say, what anime am I watching? I know it's DanDaDan, and hold on, I'm gonna pull up Crunchyroll because like I've been watching some shows.
I've been fucking watching.
I haven't watched Dragon Ball Daima yet. I'm not afraid to watch it. I just I don't know. I love Dragon Ball Z. Don't get me wrong, and Dragon Ball Daima looks fun. It's just I don't know. I have to like start it sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, I get really anxious actually before I start a new show because like whenever I watch a new show, it's at the end of the day after we've like put my kid to bed and I'm kind of frazzled and I'm like, oh man, okay, I just want to relax. I just want to relax and just like have a good time. And I'm like, I already have like a base level of anxiety, and the thought of like, oh god, I'm gonna start a show and then I've got to like watch the show and it's gonna take time and I'm like catching up, and so like I think through all of that because I'm a fucking idiot, and then it's ruined. Now I'm like, I'm too anxious to start watching the show now.
Maybe once Dragon Ball Daima has 10 episodes out, I'll start watching it. But like currently, I'm watching DanDaDan. I'm watching Ranma. They for randomly. I had no idea they were gonna do it, but they put out another SAO alternative Gun Gale online season.
What the fuck? Is it good?
Dude, do you know about the Gun Gale season?
Yeah, I watched. I watched 3 seasons of SAO, and the last one was Gun Gale. Alicization was the one after that, and people were like, "Oh, it's really good." But
this has nothing to do with Kirito.
But the Gun Gale Online was like the third arc, right?
Yeah, but SAO Alternative is about different characters playing Gun Gale.
Okay. So no.
And
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's basically this about this girl or this woman who is playing Gun Gale because she wanted to play a full dive game where she could be a small cute character because in reality she's like a tall character. It's the trope where tall, not cute character, or I guess not cutesy character wants to be cute.
Yeah.
And none of the VR games she tried, and then she put in Gun Gale, and she got to be like a small, like lolly type character, and she's wearing like a full what's it called, like army clothes, but it's all pink, and her hat is like a beret with like rabbit ears. And and she gets to be cute while shooting people. And that's all she wanted, but she's surprisingly very good because like she like fully statted her character out to be really fast, so now she's like a threat.
Mm-hmm.
But like it has nothing to do with fucking Kirito at all. It all has everything to do with her like being really badass on accident and then getting her friend who dual wields grenade launchers and they start like beating the shit out of people in tournaments and everyone's like, what the fuck? And she's just like, I don't want to be in tournaments, I just want to play. And they're like, no, you're gonna be in a tournament.
You're gonna be in a fucking tournament, otherwise I'm gonna tell everybody you're tall.
Yeah, so like all like one of her friends in the show is like an idol, like a famous idol. Like there's this group of like big burly women in the game that are like a team, and in real life they're like cheerleaders who started playing the game to get better like team synchronization in real life, so they've been doing it in the game, and it's a really good show. Like I said, you should just like season 2 just is currently going, and it's a really good show.
Okay.
Like I've been watching that Shangri-La Frontier.
Yeah, that's got a season
Frontier.
2. Yeah.
Just started putting out a new season. That's a good show. I've been watching a show that's kind of embarrassing, but it's not as bad as you think it is. But it's called Sumasho.
Okay.
It's basically this man and this woman like have this great relationship. They have a daughter, but then she dies, and then she gets reborn. And when she turns 10 and walks by her house, everything comes back, and she realizes who she was, and now she's like in wife mode. And then he goes and talks to him, the guy who's been in a depression for like 10 years. And now he's all stoked that his wife's back, but she's 10, so it's weird.
Oh.
It's not. It doesn't. There's nothing sexual about it. He doesn't do anything sexual. It's just a very weird story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the daughter is like excited to have her mom back, and he's like excited to have his wife. He knows that it's wrong to do anything creepy with her. He's just like real happy that she's back. So it's kind of like it's wholesome in a way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it sounds I mean
it doesn't sound wholesome.
Boy, it sounds like what it did is it like it saw the edge of like where like lolly content is like, because it's very quick where it gets very bad, and I put their toes on it, and then they were like, okay, this seems good, and then they kept walking forward a little bit, and now their heels are on it, and their feet are dangling over the chasm of child pornography, and they're just like almost.
So yeah, like so the thing is like it's like a pool with that like clear glass that you walk over.
Yeah.
So, like every step they could fall in, but they're not, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. That doesn't mean that like fans aren't, but
oh no, of course. Fuck off. No.
The show itself is wholesome though.
Oh man.
So the show, I'm watching that show, it's fine. It's very cutesy, very fun.
I swear, here, mark this episode. Episode 151 of the Go Gettas podcast. You can come back to this in 10 years. The person who made this is gonna be caught with child pornography. 100%. Not. He's for sure. It's not even close to a joke.
This is just his fantasy, right?
Yes. He's like, no. What I really want to watch. Hey. You know what you're all thinking the show is going to be? That's what I really want to write and draw and do, but like I got to cut it off right there. Yeah, I'm not doing. That's you that's doing that. That's crazy that you. I just thought it was wholesome and nice.
He's doing a fucking domain. Gojo's infinity domain.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna get infinitely close to CP, but I'm never gonna touch it myself.
He's like, hey, look. What y'all? Oh fuck! What did the creator of 2B? What's that game?
Oh, Yoko Taro. In Nier.
He's just like, hey, people are drawing a lot of picture of 2B's butt. He's like, I'm not doing it, but hey, could y'all get like all of it, put it in a folder, and send it to me? Like that's this guy. He's like, oh, I'm not drawing anything inappropriate, but could someone get it all together and just send it to me?
Listen, I like this is a wholesome manga, like, and it's all of the perverts that are like writing all this stuff. There's one whose screen name is big titty child girlfriend. He draws my characters the best. Don't ask me how I know him.
I mean, not the best.
Not the best. Not the best.
I don't even like it.
Oh, gross. Also, don't look at my signed in accounts on my computer. I'm not that person. I don't know who keeps saying that. I'm not.
But it's not me. It's not me.
It is not me, okay?
It's a very weird, like, it's a weird premise, but the anime itself is wholesome, so I'm okay with it. I'm watching it. There's also like 365 days to the wedding, which is a very it's about two introverts. They're not good with socializing, and they work at a travel agency, and the travel agent's like, hey, we just opened a new branch in Siberia, and we're looking to send people who are single there first. They're our priority because they got nothing going on for them. And that girl's like, one of the woman that's bad at socializing, like, fuck, I don't want to leave. And she goes to the other guy who's not good at socializing. It's like, hey, let's fucking pretend to be married so that way we don't have to go. And don't worry about anything. I got this whole planned out. You just got to say that you're getting married and I'll handle everything else. And so far, it's pretty funny.
He's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, his reason for not wanting to go is he's like, oh, well, dude, I got a cat and Siberia is not good weather for a cat.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck, fine, perfect. We're going to stay in Japan. And she's like, okay. So like the whole premise is them trying to show everyone that they're about to get married and everything's going fine, but like there's something in the back. There's someone who knows that we think it's someone that works with them, because they'll get like restricted phone calls that's like, hey, we fucking know what you're doing, so you better keep acting married or I'm gonna tell everybody. and everyone's like, well, fuck, what the hell's going on?
It's her fucking mom. Her mom's,
oh my God.
Her mom's like, I was so happy to find out that you have a boyfriend. You gotta get married for real. Yeah, Beans likes it too.
Yeah, Beans loves it. Like I said, there's been a lot of good animes like that's coming out that I'm watching. Like I'm watching a lot of like wholesome stuff. Fuck, what? There's something else I'm watching.
Beans, goddamn.
Beans? I'm gonna have to let him out. No. Hey, you can't go out there.
Like a cop, like a security guard outside of like an abandoned fucking carnival, and you see a bunch of teenagers hop the fence. You're like, hey, you can't go in there. Fuck it.
Put my hand up. Hey, you can't do that.
And you just fucking sit down and keep eating your Fritos. You're like, fuck it.
You better come back.
Yeah, Beans.
I think someone just got here. That's why he's freaking out.
Good.
Anyway, there's like good anime that's out this season, and not all of it's like creepy.
Not all of it's creepy.
Look, that show is creepy. Not by definition, but like it's creepy if I explain the premise.
Yes.
But like there's like it's not. But like some of the shows are like actually really good. Like I was watching A Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School, True Beauty, which I don't know what it is about Korean manhwas getting animated, but like they're starting to get animated, and this one's like really, really good. It's just like that fuck, what's that anime called where the guy is becoming a YouTuber because he's fighting bullies?
Oh yeah.
This one's different, and this one's stupid. It made me think of remember how we talked about in Ready Player One where that girl's like, I'm gross, I got the port wine stain.
Yeah.
Well, the premise is like this girl, she likes death rock music and horror manga, but she's gross and ugly looking, and in her old school that she transferred away because she got bullied so much, she has 3 acne like spots. She has 3 acne splotches here, on each cheek, and on her forehead, and she wears glasses.
Oh God!
So
I want to throw up thinking about her.
So she quit, like, and they're like, "Oh, you're so fucking gross," and she wears her hair in a ponytail. And so she left school and transferred to an art school for high school. But in the middle of doing that, she learned how to do her makeup and do her hair and stop being so fucking gross. And as soon as she started the new high school, everyone's like, "Who's that fucking hottie? She's so goddamn hot." And she's just like, "Oh, I'm just an art student. I just want to do art because that's what I want to do." And everyone's like, "Well, you gotta fucking go up to be the school goddess in the school goddess competition." And she's like, "I don't really want to because then people will know I'm ugly." And it's a good show. It sounds stupid, but it's a good show. I don't know what it is about manhwas being like so kind of generic and like silly, but the show's like really good.
So, do you know who Finster is?
Yes,
from YouTube?
Of course I do.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So,
don't say it like that.
So Finster just put out a YouTube video today that is like, "Hey, I've been going so hard on being a YouTuber. Like, I dropped out of high school, and like I at one point, like on a video, like somebody is talking to him, and he's like, I'm just realizing now I haven't really hung out with anyone in 3 years." Because he was just going so hard doing Minecraft videos and then like doing the femboy content stuff. Now is like he got super big, and his pronouns are still up in the air because he's like, I don't know, something's different. I'm on HRT, but I don't really feel comfortable being a girl yet.
Isn't he dating a girl?
He was. They broke up.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it was.
That means he's single.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
So I think he's 20. So
it's not creepy anymore.
Never mind.
Never mind.
So like he at the end of this video, he was like, "So I just had it confirmed to me that I'm like the single highest subscribed to like OnlyFans account."
Oh wow.
And like a male account, like the single highest subscribed to male account on OnlyFans. And he was like, "So yeah, I guess like after I come back from my break, yeah, I'll try to top out the female one too." And that was that was very funny because this sounds like having like just whenever you're like, "Oh, you got to do like the goddess competition," like, well, I don't know, then she's got to go back and like be ugly and try to be like the hottest dude now. Like that's season 2.
Listen, I don't know if there's gonna be a season 2. They wrapped it up so good, but it was a good show. Now you just got me thinking about Finster. Fuck.
Fuck. Now I'm so erect. Oh no.
You don't see my table rumbling?
Rumbling.
And it's just my fucking like boner hitting the table.
God.
No, Finster's hot, but I don't really watch him, or I don't know, whatever his pronouns are. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
He's hot.
Yeah, you're correct.
Speaking of non-binary, everyone was like dogging on Dragon Age Veilguard. One of the characters in the game is non-binary.
Okay.
And that's fine, but for whatever reason, BioWare made that character the most obnoxious character in the game.
Oh no.
And it's one of your partners, right? But like everyone treats them like they're just always right. But they're really obnoxious and bratty, and it's not good. And it's always about them being non-binary. Like And there's one scene that everyone's like, yeah, representation's great, it's awesome, but this one scene hits you over the head with it. Like remember in Star Wars The Acolyte, that one episode where that girl's like, well, I don't know, what is he or they? What's their pronouns? Like she like out of nowhere, like she fucking interrupts. There's this dialogue where they're all like, there's 3 of them are chatting. Your main character, the Tosh, the non-binary character, and this other character are talking, and they're all laughing, and she goes, "Oh man, you should have seen her. She was great." And she's like, "Oh damn." And then she gets up and goes and does push-ups, and goes on this spiel about like, oh, saying people's pronouns are right, and if they don't do it right, you gotta like, what's it called? You gotta correct yourself, and you gotta forgive yourself. And people make it about them usually, but you gotta do it. I'm like, well, you're doing exactly what you're saying is annoying to people by making
Yeah.
it about yourself, by stepping to the side, having everyone look at you, explain it, and then do push-ups.
Yeah, that's like a conversation thing to have like between two humans. That's not a thing to narrate to a player, really. It seems, yeah, that does seem a little weird. I haven't seen the thing in question, but like we've had that conversation before, because like my wife is also like, yeah, whenever somebody gets my pronouns wrong, I hate that I have to be like, hey, just a reminder, you know that that's not what my pronouns are. Like, just correct yourself and fucking move on. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is like one of the primary things whenever you're like, oh yeah, I'm like non-binary, so just use like they, them. One of the things is like, hey, I'm going to try my best, but like, I'm going to mess it up so bad all the time. And it's like, fucking cool. Like, why did you have to say that? Just try. Just try, dude.
I know I've I guess gendered your wife a few times on the show, but every time I'm just like, oh, they.
Yeah. And then that's it.
I'm never like, oh, fuck, Kobe, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, God.
Kobe, tell them I didn't mean it. Tell them right now.
I've got to put $10 in the swear jar.
I'm gonna put $10 in the they jar. Fuck, I love Mia. She's great. They are great.
There you go.
Again, there you go. What's so hard about that? Just being like, oh, Matt, then say the correct thing. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they're not listening and they're just like, oh, fucking feed.
Oh, yeah. Like to pour over the podcast and be like, oh, I caught you son of a bitch.
He said it. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry.
No.
I don't make a big spectacle and fucking flog myself in public every time that fucking happens. I'm like, look, again, man, Dragon Age Veilguard has some of the cringiest dialogue. And like, I don't know if you've seen like any of the actual reviews from, or regular reviews from like review aggregators. Like, they're giving it fucking 10s and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? I'm like, the combat looks fine and the graphics look fine, but every dialogue I've ever heard in the game is so awful and infantilizing, because the main character talks to their partners like they're fucking children. Like, talks down to like all of them, just like when you talk to when you're talking about Ollie and you're like, hey buddy, maybe don't do that next time.
Yeah.
There's like an instance in the game where two characters are having like a disagreement, and the your character, the PC, is just like, hey, maybe you can talk like this because this character doesn't like corpses because it's a necromancer. And he's just like, you know what? Maybe so. Maybe I could change the way I talk. And then he's like, then the PC talks to the other person. Maybe you talk about dragons too much. Maybe you could talk about something else. And they're like, who doesn't like dragons? But I guess we could talk about something else, maybe. And I'm just like, what the? Why are you talking like this?
That's a little weird.
I'm like, they're all adults. Why are you talking to these people like they just got out of elementary school? They're all adults. I'm like, they couldn't come to that conclusion on their own.
Nah,
they couldn't fucking like. Oh, the game looks fine, but they just hit you over the head with bad dialogue options. And also, a lot of the people that I'm seeing talk about it say that the story's very railroaded, and it's pseudo open area with the areas look nice and all, but it's like kind of like a dungeon. Every area is like a dungeon, not open area like the game says. And I'm like, and they gave these games a 10? I'm like, 8 I can see, but I'm like, did they even hear this dialogue? It's awful.
Did they have the sound on?
Yeah, and I'm like, there's people hating on it for like obvious reasons, but like, there's one thing that everyone gets it right is the dialogue is so bad.
Yeah.
I don't even like Dragon Quest. I wanted to play Velguard because the combat looks fun. It's like an action RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And Dragon Age, all of them have been like CRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wasn't into it when I first played the first two.
Yeah.
And I didn't play what was it, the last one. So I'm not like really into Dragon Age, but I saw the trailer and I'm like, I kind of like that combat, and that kind of makes me want to play it.
Yeah.
But if I have to listen to that fucking cringe ass dialogue, I really don't want to play it.
Yeah, honestly, that's that's a fair assessment, I would say. The like, to me, a hallmark of like of stuff like that is like, you know what you want to explain. You're like, it feels like you write the dialogue around like explaining a moral or explaining a lesson, as opposed to like writing what characters would say, which is like, I don't know, it's harder to do. And it feels like it's becoming more and more sort of like on the nose. It
feels weird too that I don't know if you know who the Qun are, the fucking horned people. Because the character in your party, they are non-binary. It feels weird saying that they are non-binary, these giant monsters in a fantasy setting. I'm like, huh? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. I don't know. I'm like, why would this giant race of like monster people like care about their gender so much that they put a label that's in a fantasy setting in it? I'm like, I don't know. Where did they get this label? Like, this is a what's it? Not a modern day term. This is like a real life term in this fantasy setting. Like, I don't know.
Well, that I can understand.
It takes me out because they're putting like real life terminology, like gendered like words like that into the game, and I'm like, that's weird.
See, that to me makes the most sense, actually, because if you're like, oh, this is like a race in which like there are not men and women, there's just like everybody is like the same thing, and if that race has to communicate with other people in common, right, you have to use what common already has.
That's the thing too, because like the race does have men and women. They even have words for like trans characters they established like 10 years ago, but they didn't use the word trans. They had their own word for it, which is fine. But like this one, they just said it. There's like no term for it.
Pronouns, so like non-binary or so are they using the term non-binary?
Yeah, they're using the word non-binary.
Yeah, that's a little weird. If you've already got terms for trans, I don't know why that's a little strange.
Like, yeah, because there's a character who's like, oh yeah, we have a word for, and they explain it like eloquently in like one of the older games for people of our race who don't feel comfortable being a man or a woman, and we call them this, and I don't remember what the word is, and no one ever in that place says trans. They just use the word because that's the word they establish. But this one, they don't even try to come up with the word. They're just like, it's not binary. That's what it is. Where did we hear that term? Don't know. It's just a word.
That's the word. Always has been.
And I'm just like, And what makes it worse is that character is explaining to their mom. It's so really cringy. The character sits down talking to their mom, and the first thing they're like, I'm non-binary, and the mom's like, well, what does that mean? Like, and they're like, I don't feel comfortable as a man or a woman. I'm not anything. And they're like, well, explain it to me. Like, I just don't really understand. And you can tell because like this fantasy race doesn't understand that. They're like, we have the term for like trans. They don't say trans, but like, we have the trans term. Are you then? Then the non-binary character gets mad and like, you just always want me to like fit in or whatever. I'm trying to tell you. And the mom's like, yo, I just want to understand. And like, she runs off. I'm like, that's that's not how you get good representation. That makes the people who are non-binary seem unhinged.
You're not even trying.
That's what they say. And I'm
Dude,
just like,
okay, so that actually brings us we're at basically the end of the show. We were going to talk a little bit about the election, but man, I've been on Reddit. I went to therapy the day the election, like the day after the election, and my therapist, like I told my therapist how I use both Reddit and YouTube, which is like I just pick what I want and then I let the algorithm serve things to me. And my therapist was like, specifically for Reddit, maybe don't do that for a little while at least, because like it's probably going to be a garbage fire. And they were right. The Gen Z subreddit is split right now. And it's really interesting to see this dialogue happen because somebody will make a post as like, I can't believe Trump is going to be the president for another 4 years. Do you guys not remember how bad things were last time? They're going to take abortion away for everybody. Like, which is like a lot of this stuff is, I wouldn't doubt if it happened. Like, that's just like everything on paper seems like that's what the plan is going to be. And there's like no obstruction between like to get there, right? There's just not a way. There's nothing to stop them. And then in the so these people are posting like, I can't believe this happened. Like I'm looking at the demographics and it looks like a bunch of like Gen Z men are like voting mainly for Trump. And it's like, you guys are so fucking stupid and you've got your heads up your asses and you're watching a bunch of Andrew Tate, you fucking incel idiots. And then a bunch of people are in that sub and they're like, this is exactly why I was voting for him, is because like Democrats have this like purity test bullshit where it's like, oh yeah, I think that gay people should exist, obviously. And like, I think that abortion rights should be okay. But if I happen to be whatever it is, pro-Israel, or like I like the tax structure better, or like I don't think social programs work, then it's like you're ostracized, you're a fucking idiot for believing it, like you're dumb, and we don't like you. But the expectation is that like you look at all the information and you're like, oh, well, clearly this would be a bad thing if this person got in, so I'm gonna vote as such. But then the message from people that are like purity policing are like, you're such a fucking idiot for not agreeing with everything, that they're like, I feel really off-put by that, because like then like MAGA dickheads are like, oh yeah, well, I know you're feeling really bad. And like combine this with what's called like the male epidemic of loneliness. The male loneliness epidemic is what it's called. Combine this with that, because Gen Z doesn't know how to talk to people in real life. Like you talk on the internet a lot. And so people don't really go on dates, and it's harder to date without dating apps now, because people don't feel comfortable going up to people in person. Cause like the common wisdom is like, hey, like if you're at a bar, maybe that's okay. But like, don't go up to someone on a train, don't go up to someone in a store, don't go up to anyone ever, basically. Cause like you're going to be bothering them, and you're like self-conscious about bothering them, which is, I think, correct. That's how I've always been. I don't want to go up to strangers at all. So like if I had to date right now, don't know what the fuck I would do. But yeah, like that compounds on top of this with like a bunch of people on the internet being like, hey, do you know that fucking women are preventing you from having a family and a child and a home? Like, because they want to do things like work and like not use their vaginas so that they can produce children, and they're actually evil. And they're like, you know, talking about like how like liberals are destroying society, and like you get a bunch of content like that where it's like, no, you're a special good boy, and like don't listen to what they're saying, you're a good boy, and you know, like the only people that are wrong are like these shitheads over here. And so like it's easy for people to fall into that pipeline. So yeah, it's like the election being this close after the election, because like we learned the results Wednesday and we're recording on a Friday. It's only been 2 days. I've seen, no joke, 3 gigantic shit fights on the Gen Z subreddit. It just keeps coming up for me, where it's just like, you fucking idiots voted the wrong way. Like, why are Latinos voting against their self-interest? And we had a big talk about that, like on our last podcast, about like people don't understand how conservative Latinos are.
Dude, that's yeah. I was gonna say it is so funny that we just talked about it. That like yeah, people don't know that Latinos are very conservative because a lot of Latinos work blue collar jobs.
Yeah.
They live blue collar lives, so of course they're conservative. You would not see the racism from like so-called like left, like I guess left leaning people that are like so tolerant. I want to say tolerant, but like they're the extreme left that are like, how could like fucking Latinos do this? And like y'all gotta get deported. I'm like, obviously not if they're voting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're like, why are you voting for your family to get deported? I've seen so many threads on like Twitter
Yeah.
of people are like showing Reddit threads of people like, oh, these because these Latinos did that, let's just call ICE on them.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
it doesn't matter if they're legal or not. Just assume they're not and call ICE on them.
Yep.
And oh fuck Latinos. They did all this stuff. They what's it called? I'd seen someone that's like, yeah, I have a coworker whose mom is illegal, so I'm gonna call ICE on her.
I saw that
what are they
too.
gonna do? They shouldn't have elected wrong. And one of these people was like, hey, one of my Latino friends went out of state to get an abortion, and I somehow have the fucking copy of what she did. Can I turn into the police? Like they voted wrong, so it's okay. They wanted this. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
you're not a good person in this scenario.
A lot of people are so upset that they're like, now it's I have to teach people a lesson. Like, instead of being like, hey, we're gonna be living in like bad times for the next 4 years for like these certain kinds of people, and like even if you like voted like against your self-interest or like against the interest of like your community or whatever, it's like, well, now I need to be the angel of justice and fucking deliver unto you this is what you fucking, they're all they've been jokerfied. They're like, you get what you deserve.
Yeah, you get what you fucking deserve, dialing fucking ICE. Yeah. Like, they've become the fucking Karens calling fucking the police on people that shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Like, Latinos that voted are legal people that can be in America.
Yes.
They work blue collar jobs. Of course they're gonna vote fucking Republican. That's the lives they live.
Yeah.
Even in Mexico, that's the lives they live.
Yeah, it's two parts too. It's like having a culture of like being like religious and Christian, or Catholic, especially Catholic. Like, Republicans did a real fucking good job in like the 70s and 80s and 90s being like, we're the party of Catholics, okay? We love Christianity, we love Jesus, and we hate abortion. And so if those are the things you care about, that's what you vote for. The other half of that though is like, Democrats have done such a fucking bad job, especially this election and elections prior. The things that they talk about are things that affect like the globe, really. And so they're like, listen, here's like a bunch of stuff. Like, here's what we're going to do about Gaza. Here's what we're going to do about Ukraine. Here's what we're going to do, like global warming, about like abortion rights, about like stuff like that. And the thing is, all Trump had to do was show up on stage and be like, did you notice you go to the store and you can't even buy your favorite package of ham anymore? I will make it so you can buy 2 hams. You'll be able to buy as many hams as you want. And people were like, fuck yeah, ham! That's like, that's the level that it is. All he's like, prices are going to go down. And they're like, oh, that's what I care about. And people are like, listen, there's a bunch of shit happening in the world and like everything is fucked and we've really got to fix it. And they're like, hey, I can't buy a house. What are you going to do about that? And they're like, pipe the fuck down, okay? We're working on the planet. The planet's going to be on fire if we don't do something about it. They're like, what about houses too? I'd like a house. They're like, yeah, I bet you fucking would, wouldn't you?
That's the thing. Like, Latinos care about where they live. Mm-hmm. They care about being able to afford their house.
Yeah.
If your stance was make things more affordable, of course you're gonna get the blue collar vote.
Yeah.
Even me, like I'm very what's it called, guilty of if it doesn't happen to me or in my area, why do I care about it? That's
Mhm.
what a lot of Latinos care about.
Yeah.
They were also mad when fucking what was it, whatever that city was, started taking in immigrants and they became a fucking shelter city.
Yeah.
They're just like, why the fuck are they letting them in there? They're making us look bad. Like, a lot of Mexicans at work, that's what they talked about. They were pissed off because they're like, they're making us look bad and making it harder for us to get our family over.
Mhm.
Like, they're even my mom today too. She was just like, Kamala could have won. She had it, but like she fucking slipped up at the end there.
Yeah.
And then even she was talking about like, man, the immigrants are really looking bad. Like, I was watching like TV, I saw a big line, and they're fucking up right now. Like, she's like, we have a fucking illegal immigrant problem.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what a lot of Mexicans think. You know why? Because it makes it harder for us to like, it makes it harder on us because people see your skin is fucking brown, then they associate you
Mhm.
with like the people that are coming in doing bad crimes and shit.
Mhm.
Of course, we don't want that happening. We want them to come in legal. So, like, yeah, they're gonna vote for someone that wants a stronger like fucking border system.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know how to fix this, but clearly, right? Like, I'm just some fucking dude. But like, the major problem is that immigrating to America is expensive and it's long, and doing it legally is next to impossible. Like, immigrating to any first world country, like, is a moonshot. You have to like, you have to know the system, or you have to like know a guy who knows a guy, or you have to like use a bunch of loopholes to be able to get in. You can't just like fill out a form and then send it in, and then they're like, oh yeah, cool, like we'll get back to you in 6 months, and then like it's probably yes. Like, that's just not how it works, which is awful. Like, if people want to be able to come here, then there's got to be a thing to like, if the immigration process was easier, then people wouldn't be like, I'm so fucking desperate to get to the United States, like I'm gonna almost die on my way there. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
So like, as far as like illegal immigrants coming in, and like especially if they're like doing crimes and stuff, like the amount of illegal immigrants that are doing crimes is way less than like the news makes it seem. The numbers on it are so low.
Yeah, I'm not saying like they're like it's exorbitant. I'm just saying like the big ones that get done, of course.
Yeah, the big ones.
The big ones that get done are like get shown.
Yeah,
and then it just it makes us look bad.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it wouldn't have happened if he had just stayed in Mexico. It would have been it would have been perfect.
Yeah, they're eating our dogs. They're eating our cats.
Fucking, I can't believe that son of a bitch won it. God.
Like, okay, I've been telling you this for weeks, and like I don't like to fucking I told you so. I told you he was gonna win.
Yeah,
I've been saying it. Like, and I didn't vote for him. I voted for Kamala, and that's who you told me to vote for. I did. Because I don't care, because I feel like why should I vote? It's not gonna change the outcome. And I was fucking right. Fucking the profit fee is right again. I told you he was gonna win. He won.
Yeah. I like as far as
Do
like,
I like being right? No, I don't.
As far as deportations go, the thing that's like bad about that. So basically, Project 2025 is like the thing that they're gonna try to do, and like part of it is like a porn ban. So look forward to that. That's gonna be fun. As far as like deportations go, he was like, on day one, the biggest deportations you've ever seen. We're gonna get rid of everybody. They're also looking at denaturalizing people. So like, you know how it's like, oh yeah, if you came over illegally, and then you had a child, your child is a United States citizen, and you are not. But we're going to allow you to stay here because you now have a child that's a U.S. citizen. One of the things they're looking at trying to do is overturning that. And no one knows what will happen. Like, does the child stay here? Do the parents get deported? Do all three of them get deported? And this is not a thing that only, like, what they're trying to do is make it not just affect like going forward, it's like going back. So like it's totally possible that you'll have somebody who's like a teenager or like somebody who's in their, you know, who's at school, has lived in America their whole lives, and they're like, yeah, cool. I know you don't know Spanish or whatever. Yeah, you got to go back to Mexico though, because like your parents came over here legally 10 years ago. Like, ugh, fuck.
See, like, when Trump was president for 4 years, I'm gonna not gonna lie. I don't keep up with politics. I only keep up with the memes that come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did. I don't know what Biden did. It doesn't seem like any of it was good,
dude.
Biden or Trump. I don't know. You couldn't tell me. All I care is that my gas is cheaper and I have a job.
Okay.
It sucks to hear that, doesn't it?
So I would say the worst things that that Biden did is that he didn't, for whatever reason, no one knows like how much ass he's kicked. Like he did a really good job of like getting rid of student debt. He put in a lot of like really good laws and protections about stuff. Like he's like really trying to do right by people, trying to like reduce inflation. Like this is the lowest inflation has gotten since like inflation got high.
Did he do that in like the first year?
He's been doing it, and Republicans keep making him not. For every 4 years, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to like reduce student loan debt for these people, and then he gets sued, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna do it this way, and they're like, well, we're gonna sue you about that too. So it's like, it's been a thing like over and over and over again. So yeah, it's yeah.
I don't keep up with it. That's so like I said, it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't affect me. I just it kind of doesn't. But like, what do I know? Like
one of the bad things about Trump that he like specifically called out is he's like, I hate paying overtime. I hate paying people overtime. I just don't do it. And they're trying to also get rid of the concept of overtime.
Hey, wait a minute. Now that's affecting me.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if that was like a big talking point. Maybe people didn't know, because like if that was the case, a lot of the blue collar workers would have been like, "Hey, wait a minute."
Yeah, well, that and the tariffs. They're promising like we're gonna tariff like everything, basically, like a 10 to 20% minimum tariff on all imported goods, and a 60% tariff on Chinese goods. What I've seen is that so that means that like anything that's coming from China is going to be 60% more expensive for us.
Oh, I love going to the Asian market. No.
Yeah, so there's that. And basically everything that is imported is going to be 10 to 20% more expensive. And like that, like it's the intent there is to be like, well, American goods, right? Like those aren't going to be, so like those will just be cheaper. But like we don't produce everything. So yeah. What a bunch of businesses have been doing is like, as soon as he won, a bunch of businesses are like, all right, let's like, we're going to have to buy materials and stuff while it's cheap. Otherwise we're going to get super fucked as soon as he shows up. So like, I saw a story about a company that was like, had to sit all their employees down and was like, listen, I know we give you a Christmas bonus every year. Because this man is going to be doing a bunch of tariffs, we can't do a Christmas bonus this year because we have to order like triple what we would order at the end of the year. That way we can be good for most of next year, like so that we can try to improve our margins and stuff in time. We can't pay an extra 60% on a fucking like every sheet of metal that we get. We can't do it. So that's good. Good. Great.
See, like I said, talk to me in November of next year, and we'll see what happens.
Let me do that. Let me go and do this.
We'll do a fucking a year into Trump's not a year. I guess it'll be like 11 months into the Trump
administration.
We'll see at that time what it'll be, because like right now, like I could not be fucked about what's happening. Every day I wake up as shit. And like every day is a pain.
I hate being alive.
Honestly, I hate it. On side note, I haven't taken my antidepressant today. So uh, maybe that plays into it. But also like, we'll see. Everyone's like, it's the end of the world, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it depends on what goes through. The thing is, there's not as many barriers to what goes through as the last time. So, based like if Project 2025 is what they want to do, shit's gonna get real bad pretty fucking quick. So we'll see. We'll see how it happens. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is just a goofy presidency.
I bet it's gonna be a goofy presidency, and I bet anytime he brings something up like new shit, it's gonna get turned down. He's just gonna be like, "Well, that's not fair."
The thing is, Republicans now have the House, the Senate, and the White House. If they want to do anything, they can do anything. Literally anything. Like they could just be like, "Oh yeah, no abortions for everyone." That's it.
A lot of the Republicans don't like Trump.
Yeah.
They just have to deal with him.
Well, they don't like him privately, but they're like, I support the party. So yeah, everybody got to respect the president.
Yeah, that's what everyone fucking does. Honestly, it's so to me right now. We'll see what happens. I think next year is just going to be another year, and then people are going to, what's it called? I'll wait for the memes to come out. That's when I'll learn something's happening.
That's when I'll learn.
What's it called? I think one of my favorite, I was hoping for this meme, but do you remember when Trump was elected in 2016, that lady that was in the street that was like, no!
Yeah.
She did the same thing this year, and they took that picture and they put it side by side.
Oh, good.
They set the original and then the sequel.
Oh God.
Maybe it's mean for me to say that, but I was hoping for that to happen because it was funny. It would have been funny.
Fuck.
Once I learned Trump got elected, I wanted to see that.
You're like, oh, hold on.
Look, I never stated I was a good person. I'm just an all right guy. I don't really care what's going on in the world.
I'm just some schmo. As long as I'm alive. Fuck, the bar's low.
The bar's low. As long as I'm alive, and as long as like I can have money for where I live. Fuck, I don't know. Once it starts affecting my bottom line, I guess. I'm just a blue collar worker too, Colby.
Once they start taking your porn away.
Ooh, they already did in Texas.
They fucking did. You got to put in an ID and everything. Terrible.
I'm not gonna do that, but I know some websites that don't need it.
Yeah,
not that I go there or anything.
But I've got my contacts.
I got yeah.
All right, listen, we're at the end of the show. We went a little bit long. My bad. Listen, you can watch this live at twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod. You can see how fucking sweaty I get every episode.
You are sweaty today.
I'm so sweaty. It's hot in this room. I hate it. Yeah, twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod. We go live anytime between 0 and 2 times a week. If you like, that'll get you. You'll be hearing the podcast the earliest you possibly can. If you want to hear it with slightly better audio, you can wait till it comes out on Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Pacific time, so you can listen to it on your way to work. But if you want the video component, if you want to see how sweaty I am, but you can't catch it live, watch it on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/@GoGetUsPodcast. And just fucking also we got YouTube shorts there and on our Instagram and our TikTok. So fucking go check them all out. They're really good.
Speaking of shorts, our latest short about the Donald Trump burger.
Mm-hmm.
The first and top comment we got was just one word. Just said gay.
Gay. Just gay. Gay.
Gay.
It feels like 2004. It's crazy. Gay.
Yeah, that's all. I was like, what's gay about it?
I don't know. What are you doing?
It's like when people say bad when they mean good.
Yeah.
It's just like gay, that means bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I dig it.
All right, sure.
But yeah, we have all those stuff. Go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. go just follow, like all our shit, because we post there.
Yeah.
Not on Twitter a lot, but I gotta get back into that. I'm not some kind of fucking master when it comes to social media. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to your nearest haunted tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to confront the demon inside the tunnel, not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to see it, and then when you see it, run, but purposely get caught so that way it can take your dick and balls.
We all know that demons inside of tunnels always take your dick and balls, no matter what they are. This is common knowledge.
Common knowledge. That's why I said go there. It's gonna happen. Take your dick and balls, and then you'll just be flat like a Ken doll.
Mm-hmm.
Go to your nearest shrine or church or anything, and get a friendly girl who's down on her luck. Find the ghost and go get him.
Go get him. Also, try to stream yourself naked on Twitch and see if they like censor you. Like, I'm just curious, like what they do. That would be.
Well, I mean, they never show it in the show, but like I assume he's flat.
It's gotta be, right?
There has to be like a cloaca so that way he can pee.
Huh.
Because how does he pee?
Maybe he just pees out his butthole now.
That's a lot grosser. I would prefer the cloaca.
Maybe the butthole is now a cloaca.
I can't get freaky with that. I don't know, man. Like ghost dick anatomy is weird. But like, what would you do if a ghost took your balls and dick?
I'd be like, what do I get? Sorry, what do I get in return?
These aren't free. They're not the greatest.
You gotta pay for these. Give me superpowers or something.
What are you doing? Why do you need my balls? Why do you need my ween? Like, what would a ghost want with them? God, get out of here. Bye.
Bye.